things like.
Okay.
It's live now, that's great. I'm gonna call the meeting of the Student Senate to order at 5:02 p.m. and we're gonna, instead of wrapping up the gap, we're gonna use this interview and it's not working very well. I think it's, oh, it doesn't have the lid's not. Oh, good, we're actually gonna use the gavel. No, it's fine. Okay, we're gonna start with revisions to the agenda, with you. First, I want to move the election results from, a consent item to an info item, but maybe just right after public forum, after reading the election code and talking about it, and the exec didn't have to take action, we talked about it. So there's no reason why we have to like pass a motion, so it doesn't need to be combined. And the other thing is, I don't know if you know, but the encampment reached a agreement earlier today, right around here. And there was the ask from the SUBA that the AS just said that like, yes, there was some like student government support in that negotiation. We had, I think, Liam helping out with that negotiation and doing some facilitating. And I think there's a little tiny mention of it in the memorandum of understanding. So I was gonna send that out to all of you. And just sort of, I think it would be a consent item of just like, yeah, we're good that you're saying that this is actually true, that yes, there was student government people that were part of the negotiations to some extent. And I think that's sort of, it's a weird ask, but that's what SUBA has asked for, so that's what that, yeah. I guess, are this person, or anyone opposed to moving the election thing? No? Great, okay, that, we're gonna move that one. And any thoughts about adding just the little MOU thing, saying like, yeah, we're good with the word AS being in there, that's true. Okay, so I'll add that. And I'll send that to you all very quickly here. The next thing, or so on to our, actually, are there any other revisions? One thing. No, okay. Then we'll go into consent items. First we have the minutes from last meeting and the meeting before. Do people have any other or any thoughts about these before we move on?
Just for the meetings from May, the meeting minutes from May 22nd, I think rather than listing off people as being absent, I think it would make sense to just put NA for present, absent, and then all of it, and then just move due to the Western Academic Workers Union strike, there was a meeting to move that to the top. Or just have that, either way. That's my.
Yeah, personally, I think it's fine if I'm gonna just say that there wasn't a meeting.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the extent of it. It's also not a big deal if it does say people are absent or whatever, anyway.
Well, it's just that it's not that people were, it's not like there was a meeting and people were absent, it's that there was no meeting. So I think it's just misleading to have it, or that's all. But I agree, like, say the statement about the union. Yeah.
Are people good with removing the attendance from the minutes of the 22nd?
I think on that note too, you could take out, called to order and adjourned.
Hmm.
I don't know, just to keep it consistent.
Since it was not called to order. That's a good point. Okay. Any other thoughts? No, okay. Then we'll consider that sort of, that's the amendment on the minutes. The other thing that you stored from the email very quickly here, I believe it should be in your inboxes shortly. So that might be a challenge. So I'll just read off the relevant section. Which is just that, for the preamble, the following statement and the related actions are based on mutual understanding and agreement between Western Washington University and the ASWWU Divest Apartheid Coalition. The ASWWU Divest Apartheid Coalition is a broad and diverse student coalition, including representatives from the ASWWU Arab Student Association, ASWWU Jewish Voice for Peace, and the Associated Students. And that sentence is the only sentence that mentions the Associated Students, and I think the president was just wanting that to sort of be okayed, even though it is a statement of fact. So yeah. Are there thoughts on that? Giving like the okay to that? No thoughts, okay. With that being the case, then, I welcome a motion to approve the consent items with the, amendments. Make that motion.
Hardgrove motions to approve the consent items with those changes.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, moved by Hargrove, seconded by Bernal. Any more discussion? Never mind, not saying anything. Okay, all those in favor of approving the consent items with the stated amendments, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. There's only 3 senators in the chat, right?
There's also Lauren, but she's having trouble accessing the chat.
Unlucky.
So I'm just gonna tell her she can vote in the chat, it's me, and then I can say to you.
She felt like you in the.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well. Has she said anything to you yet?
Not yet, but typing,
Typing?
yeah.
Exciting.
She said yes.
She said yes, okay. So that motion carries, wait, no, that's not, I can't do math. 11-0-0. Great. What, did I count wrong?
No, it's just, you're so aggressive today.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm tired. Okay, then we're gonna move on to this information item that we just sort of plop in. Actually, we're going to public forum first. Public forum. Is there anyone from the public here that wants to talk in public forum?
I guess, I just had one quick question about, because I was looking through this your meeting packet before earlier today, and I had one question about the proposed new Senate bylaws. Under your, process for, appointees, I guess I have particular focus on this because this is related to my job loosely. You mentioned that I believe it is the chair, vice chair, and the other senator for the college that has a vacancy. My question is, what would happen in the event that we have double vacancies? Do you manage to avoid that? But conceivably that could happen. That was my question. For the Senate.
Yeah, I believe we didn't speak of that specific scenario in the bylaws working group, but, this past year, that's the same thing we were doing with the same people. And we, like when we didn't have both grad senators, we just had a smaller hiring committee and didn't have an additional senator sit.
Okay.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I guess I'm fine with ultimately go with the Senate's fit. I mean, I think the hiring committee is nice to go have larger amount of people, well, not too large, but I just wanted to make sure that the Senate is
Yeah.
aware of that.
No, that's-
If you guys have found a way that you find that if you're comfortable, then
Yeah,
I don't see any problem with having that, that's happening.
no, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm really shocked that we didn't talk about that in my last working group because it literally happened.
Yeah,
So maybe we'll ask.
I think we maybe mentioned it.
Unless we are voting on it today.
That seems highly unlikely.
Okay.
Right, because we only have 11 people.
Yeah.
And we need 13. to
Yeah,
pass it.
right,
So,
totally.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Any other people online? No, okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and close public comment, or public forum, and we'll move on to this info item that we blocked between public forum and the Senate report. And that's gonna be the certification of the election results.
Yeah.
And that's Isaac.
Yep, so thank you all. This is the final stage of the elections. This is like the very last thing is the presentation of results to all of you all. We'll certify these, well, they've already been certified, but we'll end the process of the 2024 AS general elections. We'll unseal the results now. And loosely continuing the tradition, I'll present the executive board proposal bodies results before the Senate. So for the executive board, I'll do this sort of quickly. For the role of associate student president, we actually did have a run-on for this. We resulted in Malachi Phillips has been elected to the position of associate student, of executive board president with 263 votes after run-on. The VP for activities will be Sebastian Mayo at 454 votes, uncontested. The VP of diversity will be Morgan Witt with 446 votes. VP of governmental affairs will be Aspen Kate Stoglio with 282 votes. And ASVP of sustainability will be Kira Davis with 450 votes. And that's all the results from the executive board. There's two positions that will be hired out or gone vote of special election next year. Now on to the student senate. The position of associate student senate will be Moose Abuhar with 457 votes. The AS senators at large will be Melissa Ramirez with 150 votes, Louis Hay with 137 votes, Emerson Tucker with 600 votes, and Matthew Lowen with 56 votes. The CBE senators will be Zach Kramer with 26 votes and Gabriel Price with 12 votes.
Damn.
Just wait.
Sorry, no, just the voter proceed.
So the College of the Environment senators will be Megan Newfield with 19 votes and Emma Fredland with 18 votes. The College of Fine and Performing Arts senators will be, this one also proceeded to, this one has a special note, but the two senators will be MJ Dizon with 11 votes and Doran Danielson with 9 votes. This actually went to a runoff section and actually had a tie vote where the Doran Danielson and Valentina Del Risco Sanchez had both had 6 votes each. We had to go into tie-breaking procedures, which ended up with Doran Danielson having 1 more vote. Yes. College of the Humanities and Social Science senators will be Aiden Ochoa at 57 votes and Calvin Christoph at 36 votes. The science and engineering senators will be John Hardgrove with 30 votes. And Hallie Bauer at 26 votes. The Fairhaven senators will be Sabina Gupta at 6 votes and Seth Snyder at 1 vote. The graduate senator, we only have 1 person currently, will be returning Miller at 8 votes. For the Woodring Senator, we also have only 1 senator, will be Zelda Rood at 8 votes. Now we can move on to the referenda, or the referenda is plural. So the referendum ASWWU SP 24 Rep 1, the constitutional referendum, passed with 479 votes, constituting 93% of the vote. The second referendum, ASWWU SP 24 Ref 2, security referendum, passed with 406 votes, 78% of the vote for that referendum. We also this year, we had an increase on voter turnout from last year. We are now at 3.92% voter turnout, an increase of 8.4 from last year. With 515 people voting.
We are.
Yeah, we are recovering. For sure. And that includes the vote. I guess if any of you have questions, but yes.
I do have a question. Yeah, so you just mentioned how there was a bigger voter turnout. I'm just wondering like how that data like falls between college, if you know like what colleges. I mean, I guess there's like way more students, obviously, in like CHSS and stuff. But in terms of like percentage of voter turnout within colleges, do you have that data?
We have not compiled it yet. We are intending to.
Sounds interesting, but like that.
Yes, because we also are very interested in that. Yes, I don't think they have the. Not this year, but yes, historically, college and the community social science has been the most turnout because they are the largest college. But yes, we are looking forward to that. We also want that information. That's the reason. Yeah, we hope next year will be a lot better because this year also we think that for all that we increased, voter turnout was stifled a little bit by the fact that it's been a little chaotic at Western and then the universe a lot recently. So hopefully next year we'll see even more people turn out as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Potentially. Yeah, so that constitutes our constitutional responsibility to acknowledge the election results. And now everything's chill with the elections. Or as chill as it can be. I don't know. Okay.
And now we're
Oh, yeah, now our name is ASWWU
So
second.
stupid.
Or, yeah, no more students.
No more students.
We're making waves here.
We are making waves.
Okay, with that item concluded, we'll move on to the Senate reports. And so I think Lily, you have something you want to share?
I mean, not really.
No, you don't want to?
I mean, we could look it over and Lola, if you're online, please speak. If you'd like.
I mean, if you don't want to share, that's also entirely within your power.
I mean, it's kind of, if y'all want to hear me, yeah. We started off with 2 pages and we ended up at 16, so that happened, but that probably means we did something right, or Lola did something right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say, other than. If you're interested.
You're supposed to pull it up. Oh my god. I was just staring at you. I was just nodding along. Oh my god. Okay. That's my bad. That is so my bad. Okay. Where? No one pulling it up. Like. God, someone needs to do their job. It's me.
Yeah, Melly, if you don't want to yap, I would be more than willing to yap a little bit about it.
Thanks, Lola.
Awesome, yeah. So we made a Senate report. It basically just covers all of the projects we've been working on and major contacts, much like the Senate reports that you all have probably done. Um, this one goes into specific detail on the kind of like wait, I'm blanking. Wait 1 second. Okay, yeah. In terms of ongoing projects, it starts out with the projects that Millie had going on, and that is or yeah, completed projects, kind of like a budget recommendation for the dean. Very exciting. And then it kind of touches on all of the other things that we've had to do, kind of like responses to the whole outback going on, and consider that an ongoing thing because we don't necessarily know what the status is. It's kind of out of date, and we suggest the next folk look into that. And same thing with the kind of food security project, and also same thing with the kind of idea of a grocery store going on with the bookstore as kind of a separate thing with a little less attention. Um, these are all basically just leads that the next senators can use to kind of look in for future work if it is interesting to them, if that's where their interests lie, and all the relevant context for that. Additionally, in my like commentary slash conclusion bit, I listed a series of 3 areas in which they might find some potential exciting ideas to do things. I have like the idea of creating a ethical spending policy for ASWWU funds, drafting like a balanced check system to ensure that there are key stakeholders participating in like critical decisions. I don't know, basically all the stuff that I wanted to do in Senate but didn't get around to. And also the majority of the things that bulk out the 16 pages are in the appendixes. Basically, they're all the documents from everything that happened with the Outback, all the documents we got at least, all the things from the food security referendum, the proposal, the statement of support, and a background document with the bookstore kind of meetings I was having with the grocery store. Oh, and somewhere in there, I kind of forgot where, but there are hyperlinks that go to the contract between WWU and Chartwells that I got through like submitting through like university file request or whatever, as well as their 400 or so page proposal of things that Chartwells proposed and kind of promised and then lied about. And that's all I got.
Wow, this looks amazing, you guys. This is so impressive.
Yeah, this is a whole lot. And it's great and wonderful.
Yeah, that's so impressive. Wow, you guys did such amazing work.
I
Let's
will
look at
warn,
this.
I got pretty sick. I got sick halfway through writing it, so I actually never spell checked it. So yeah.
Who's Jackie? Who's
We're gonna.
Sorry, I'm being stuck at the last.
Yeah, like that. Passing Lola.
No, Lola did amazing.
Sure.
I didn't
notice
that. You had to send them pretty far before I just.
Was there any questions for the senators, or Melly, do you wanna add anything?
Lola did an amazing job and I've loved working with her this year, so thank you.
Awesome, great.
Yeah, this is really a
Um,
lot of work.
It's really impressive.
A lot of work.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know, when I was reading through it, I was imagining being like an incoming senator and like,
Yeah.
if I had this document, I feel like it would be like so useful and helpful. It's just got like, you answer the why questions all over the place. And I think someone could read this and pick up where you left off, so. Thanks, Lola.
very good job. Didn't seem like there were any questions. I'll double check chat. No questions I'm seeing, so we're gonna move on. To action items, and we have Senate bylaws, and from my understanding, we don't have 13 people in the room right now, so I welcome a motion to table the, student senate bylaws. That's like, the draft was written. Next year's senate can approve it first meeting, but it's easy, it's chill. If we don't get it done, that's fine. I guess there was another thing that I wanted to raise, and that's the possibility of, like, we could have another meeting next week. And this will tie into the budget. I think that if we don't want to take action on the budget today, because we haven't had a whole week to think about it and play with it, then we could have a special meeting next week. If we want to just pass the budget, that's also a possibility. That just sort of tied into this, because if we table it, we could maybe theoretically have 13 people here next week. Odds of that, I don't know.
We can make it happen. Did we do that winter quarter?
It's possible. Is it likely? I don't know.
We changed the date and time.
I mean, we could, that's another possibility, like, I think.
You could call a special meeting at a time that you know,
Yeah.
at least 13 can be there, and you can just approve, some things.
Yeah, no, we could have a very short, we could have like a 10-minute special meeting, that's entirely possible. But that's just a consideration, is like, if we table it, we could still have the opportunity to pass it before the end of this year. It's just the possible, like, chance of that is lower than we might hope. But yeah, I would welcome a motion to table it when we can take action on it today without, reports of the Senate.
But not motions to table the bylaw.
Durbin seconds.
Okay, moved by Ronald, seconded by Durbin, any discussion on the motion? No, okay, all those in favor of tabling the bylaws item, yeah, all those opposed, say nay. And are there any abstentions? Okay, I believe there are 2 votes missing allegedly in the chat. Okay, that motion carries 11-0-0. I guess I told you guys to do it for the repeal of consent charter also. But that's very related. The repeal of consent charter is very much like dotting your i's, crossing your t's. This document is really old. No one has probably read it in this room except for me. It's from when the Senate was recreated a few years ago, by the executive board before there was the constitutional amendment. So like, it's kind of a dead document right now, but it's still like, it hasn't ever been repealed. So I think if we're gonna update the bylaws, it makes sense to just get rid of this thing and repeal it, and no one ever sees it again. And it can go live its peaceful life in the annals of, Microsoft Teams or whatever. Yeah, but we would also like to move into table this one. And maybe we'll do this one by unanimous consent. We don't have to take it one. We don't want to motion to table the repeal of the student senate charter.
Miller motions to.
Okay, moved by Miller for a second. Okay, moved by Miller, seconded by Epsilon. Is there anyone opposed to tabling this?
Sorry, why are you tabling it?
Because we also need the 3/4 to do this. Yeah, I guess I should have mentioned that, but yeah, that's why, because we also can't take action on this without 13 people here. Yeah. Yeah, is there any questions, discussion? No, and is there anyone opposed online? Because it doesn't look like anyone's opposed in person. If that's the case, then we'll consider it carried. Okay, that motion carries by unanimous consent. Great, beautiful. Now, student tech initiatives, we saw these last time. These are, I think we should pass these. We were a little bit delayed for various reasons last week. And yeah, I think we should pass them. And I don't know if people have questions or discussions they want to raise about them, but just a reminder, this is tech feed. has a portion of that fee funds this sort of pool of money that's used for, tech initiatives. It funded things like, cameras, SCC, various lab equipment, computers, tech that enhances sort of the educational experience that isn't funded by the state. And this is sort of what the committee, consisting of 2 students, 2 faculty, and the added commissioner, I forgot the title, but yeah. And yeah, we came to this recommendation. This seemed to make most sense. It doesn't use all of the money in this use pool, and the pool gets refilled every year because people are paying the fee every year. But yeah, any questions on this? Okay, with no discussion then, I welcome a motion to approve the student tech fee initiative. They're called, what are they called? Yeah. Yeah, the student tech fee initiatives.
There are motions to approve.
Student tech fee initiatives. Okay, is there a second?
Matt said.
Okay, moved. Right, there's been seconded by Pradhan. Any more discussion? Oh, we have Devin and Lalar, maybe they're just getting their votes ready. I can't really tell. Devin or Lola, you? Okay, Devin. Oh, okay. Great. Yeah. Okay, all those in favor of approving the student tech fee initiatives, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, that motion carries 11-0-0. Great, we're moving along here. Next, we've got the budget. Okay, we're gonna go through this very quickly. Oh, actually, not that quickly, this quickly. So this document is basically, it has like a bunch of words, and then it has a chart, and then it has the budget in a table. The words are kind of important. They're sort of the narrative that the finance council developed. The overview part just says this is the budget. This is where money comes from. There's some definitions. You can read them if you want. Contact, we have the really original sentence that definitely was not exactly the same last year. Sorry. That's a little too harsh on finance council. But yeah, there are sort of the broad situation with the budget is that costs go up faster than the SNAP can be increased. And what that creates is a deficit. And that's sort of the nature of the SNAP is capped at 4% increase every year, and the SNAP committee, which is composed of students, that committee decides how much to increase it, and it's been increasing it basically 4% every year. And yeah, the budget sort of, the money that comes from that SNAP is sort of more fixed than the increase in costs. So there have been some creative budget adjustments and right sizing that's happened this year. Yeah. The process for the budget so far was, I think, yeah, there were some proposals, essentially what the ASWWU/AM finance office asked of budget authorities, who are the professional and classified staff who have authority over budgets, who can like sort of okay timesheets and okay expenses. They made proposals that were reduced from last year. That was the ask. Then there was a second round after that because the reductions were not enough. And this is because the costs actually increased a whole lot this year because the Bellingham minimum wage increased and the state minimum wage increased. So if we were to not change any sort of how many hours we were budgeting, how much programming we're providing, that would result in a 12% increase, which is more than 4%. Yeah. Then, because the sort of first proposals were so high, AS Finance Office, and that's, the AS Finance Office consists of, a few professional classified staff. And also the AS Business Director for the student. And yeah, so that's sort of where that direction is coming from, and that a lot of this fiscal oversight comes from, sort of through the university's hierarchical, fund management system. You can read all those policies if you want on the university policy website. But that's sort of what governs some of this process. After those, reductions came, and sort of, also, yeah, before that, there was some presentation at various points throughout this process to the finance council by each, area in the AS.
Jesus.
Sorry,
guys.
We haven't spent.
Oh my
minutes
God,
there, right?
yeah, that was the last one, sorry.
Okay.
That was not for you.
Yeah, so.
Okay, 30 minutes for this.
Yeah. I forgot what I'm saying.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so
Chill,
sorry.
chill.
Presentations.
Right, yeah. So the different offices of the AS presented, their budgets to the finance council, sort of explaining in detail what sort of changes were made, what the money is being spent on. And, I don't know if you know this, but the biggest expense, for the university and for the AS is labor, because this is, this is knowledge work that has happened here at the university. But yeah, so that's sort of, a lot of the reductions were reductions in what the budgeted hours were. And then, yeah, so that's what you'll see. There's also a lot of cuts to like goods and services. Yeah, and if you want to see, you could, if you really want to see the full detailed budget, which if you want to see that, then you're not going to see it before we either vote to vote or don't vote to vote. But I can get you the full thing, but that would sort of be contingent on us actually having another meeting to pass the budget. Yeah, but if you want to see a little bit of detail, but not all the detail, it's going to be in those sort of tables. It'll say for each account, why the dollar amount is what it is. If we keep moving, we've got some sort of value stuff here. You can read it. I think it's going to be like, don't waste money, don't do bad things, be chill, et cetera. Yeah, the finance council, this is, I think, last page. Or no,
Sorry.
it's not. No, you're on the right page.
Oh.
Oh, it's just, there's this thing that says what the membership of the finance council is.
Oh, right.
That you can read it if you want.
They're missing a parenthesis.
That's so cool. We can amend it, if someone can move an amendment to add the parentheses. Anyway.
Oh, thank you for validating my feelings.
The mandatory increases, this part is like, this is why costs increase. Student salary, this is what, I was talking about with wages. So this paragraph, I sort of disagree with a little bit, but it's fine. It says that level 1 employees saw an increase of $1 on the 1st of May due to the new Bellingham, law. And that was, but under the direction of HR and from the VP of Enrollment Services, Melinda Husky. Those employees were only brought up to minimum wage, they weren't brought up a whole dollar. The university changed this was because changing the wages above sort of that minimum wage would constitute an unfair labor practice. My half professional opinion is that that's bullshit, but that's fine. The finance office wanted that in there because they said they use it for planning next year, and that's sort of what they're was in that's fine. I think that's silly. I think yeah, but that doesn't matter. Wages will continue to increase with employees rather rapidly because of that ordinance that was passed through initiative. And that will increase costs for the AI in the future. Staff salary, these are mandatory increases because they come from both collective bargaining agreements with unions and also from the state. So yeah, it's 4% cost of living for professional staff and 3% for classified staff. Yeah, and there's some reclassification, and I think there's some other effects that might happen that will be mandatory because of regulations at the federal level, and maybe some other stuff at the state level that might change that, but those are like mandatory. That's basically the story of wages and costs just increase, and there's not much we can do about that other than reduce labor. Yeah, inflation imminent. Other increases above inflation. So we have first in FSX BAD, and so these codes, they're called FAST indexes. They're basically like abbreviations for different accounts. The FFX BAD, that's for the executive board. And it has added, it now has budgeted the position of ASVP for university operations. So that's an increase above sort of the current operations, because that's adding a new person to the student government. The club grant funding has been increased in this budget by $5,000. And that's because activity council has been like having trouble deciding what to fund, what not to fund, because there's so many clubs, and there's so much engagement with clubs right now. And that's like, in the grand scheme of things, pennies. In that budget, $5,000 is not very much. Outdoor center administration, I don't know much, I don't quite remember what this one was about. I mean, it says that it's about better training or something. So yeah, I would believe that. And then the CUGs reinstated one of their positions. So I think it was like they were holding that position vacant, but I think there was a need for it, so they added it back. Okay, there's this one sentence that says committee coordinator duties, and I feel like that is a weird formatting thing, and I'm gonna ignore it. Reductions, there's going to be reductions in operating hours at the outdoor center. There's also going to be reductions in the number of excursions and training for the outdoor center. And the number of telephone lines is also being decreased because no one uses telephone. Did you know, fun fact, the phone at the info desk up here in the VU, that's a Microsoft Teams phone, it's not a real phone. So when the internet goes down, no more phone. But yeah, in reductions in the number of positions, there was the club hub eliminated a position, and sort of use that to make another position a little bit bigger. So sort of will be reducing the overall labor that office can do, but seems possible, especially since they have two professional classmates stuff in there. CUGs reduced the number of budgeted hours, productions reduced gallery attendance and some of the budgeted hours. Yeah, so the story here is reduction in budgeted hours. We see the same thing for executive board and student senate. And there's also this note about the reduction for budgeting purposes only. This is sort of where there was disagreement in the finance council, mostly me and Kira saying that if there are going to be reductions in the number of hours we're budgeting, that means that there should actually also be a reduction in the number of hours people are supposed to work, because otherwise people could work more, and it's just, it doesn't make sense. Like, what's the budget for then? But that's not something that ended up being resolved, and in the interest of actually getting the budget passed, we sort of dropped that and are gonna pass it on to the next student government to sort of think about, because that's something that, especially, I don't know if you guys know, but there's an audit going on of the AS, there actually has been for the entire year. There are like big concerns from students about like how the AS is doing its finances, and also from like Linda Husby and the trustees. And yeah, I think there's things like this that don't make a lot of sense, but essentially what this means is that the number of hours in the budget can be lower than the number of hours in the position description, and right now the in this budget is, we're saying that that's fine. Yeah, that's what the current recommendation is.
Is that what that note means right there?
Yeah,
Is that what
that's
that's
what I
trying to
was
say, that like, it'll be covered by reserves?
I mean, that's the implication, yeah, is that
Okay.
if everyone were to work their full hours on their position description, it would be covered by reserves, because you can't not pay someone that's illegal.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what the reserves are for, but, obviously throughout the year, their budget authorities can make decisions to reduce spending, whether that's things like, telling student ways not to work as much or reducing workload or things like that. So there's different things that happen throughout the year that can change, how much is actually spent from the budget. Yeah, some other decreases mostly to goods and services. Some things were moved. We finally moved me and Nellie into the student senate budget instead of being in the board budget. That's purely administrative. Doesn't really matter. We go to AS grants. So there's a club coordinator project position. I believe this is, I'm forgetting now, there's too many things. This is one of the two professional classified staff people in the club hub that are supporting clubs. And this, basically the grants recommended for operationalization are the grants that the finance council and the AS finance team think should be put into the operating budget. Right now, they're being funded out of AS grants, so through our reserves. The Peer Guild Council grant is, I believe, being transferred into LGBT plus Western or something. That there's some weird stuff going on there, and that's sort of our revenue to sort of the centers only being created. I mean, new name very recently, but coming out as a DEI unit a couple of years ago. So there was a sort of legacy of it used to be in the AS. So there's some things that's trying to get transferred. Ongoing grants, there's the finance council approved an operations manager position. This is another classified or professional staff person to support the operations of funds. Looking for this is what I was talking about, where Kira and I sort of raised the issue of we need to look at how the AS budgets wages and hours. And that's something that there wasn't any time for. And AS finance and the professional staff, we're thinking that there's just a lot of sort of things up in the air right now, and too many people offline for now. Yeah, that's another thing to sort of look at for next year. And then the conclusion is like, yeah, we made a budget and we, yeah. Okay, we can go to the budget summary now. Actually, I'll stop for questions first. If you have questions about that. I know I just like, yeah, for the set there.
Love it.
Check the chat. Nothing in the chat.
What are the budgeted hours for the student senate and the executive board for next year?
For the Senate president, it's gonna be 20 hours a week, and then for senators, it's gonna be up to 8.5 hours per week.
Yeah, I believe that's what was in the proposal. Yeah, and
That is also like, for us, the way that we wrote the position descriptions was we have an administrative note at the bottom that says that the hours are subject to change. Because at the time we wrote the position descriptions, the budget was still getting approved, and there was all this turmoil and chaos around reducing the hours and all of that. So I think the position description might have said 10 for senators, but now if you look at it and you do the division, it works out to be 8.5. But that doesn't mean that it necessarily has to be hard and fast rule, because like if we get to spring quarter and like people are mostly working 7 or 6 hours, and then someone asks, hey, I'd like to work up to 10. You know, those things, there is flexibility there. Like the hours per week is based on like, just like doing the numbers and dividing it off, but that can change throughout the year. Does that make sense?
yeah, and
So that's my answer right now.
yeah, the number of hours that senators can work is gonna be sort of, it is like there was that note about sort of you could work more than the budgeted hours. That's the position of the AS in this recommendation. The actual sort of limit is gonna be at the discretion of our budget authority, Adam, because that's his role is to sort of make sure that the budget is in good condition. And Adam's philosophy is that people don't work more than the budgeted hours. So that's probably what will end up happening is what we just said. Yeah. Other questions? Okay, we'll move to the budget summary. This one's a little bit different. There's sort of these big groups are made up, and I think they're different this year, I think, or maybe they're not, I don't know. But yeah, that's sort of what it looks like. A lot is sort of in the central services area. A big portion of that, actually about a third of the AS's budget, goes to classified and professional, staff salaries. And the rest goes to largely student employee, wages. And this AS subsidies thing, that's, specifically for the AS Child Development Center, which is administered entirely by the, Division of Enrollment and Services out of Melinda's office. But the AS sort of gives a portion of its, budget to that program to help support it. That's been going on for a while. Yeah. So we've got this wonderful table, and this is a lot. I don't know, do people want me to go through these like line by line? No. I mean, that was just, actually, do people want me to explain sort of what these are? Because I was sort of in conversation when they were spending Daisy.
Well, I'm just like getting to this point in the budget makes me think that maybe we should bring up why we're talking about not passing it at this meeting. And then if we don't pass it this meeting and we choose to have a special meeting next week, that would give people time to like read this if you haven't, or think about it like really critically if you haven't. And so the reason why I personally think we should have a special meeting next week to pass this is because we read and passed the budget last year in one meeting, and it was like our last meeting of Senate, and there were things on that budget that not everyone really knew that they were agreeing to sign off on, and that's why the Outback had that big issue of like, oh, is it gonna be funded? And that was, I'm not saying it's our fault, I'm just saying we had a hand in that and we didn't mean to. And so I would hate to see that happen again next year. So that's why I think we should be really careful before we. Yeah. So what I'm saying is before you like go through all the effort of like explaining everything, maybe we should decide if we're gonna vote on it or not. But also like, if you guys wanna vote on it, we'll vote on it, like that's fine. That's just my perspective personally.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, yeah. Really, it's up to you guys. I don't care one way or the other. Are there other thoughts on either? So right now it is an info item, so it would have to be, actually, is it an action item? No, what is an info item? So we'd have to move it to action, actually vote on it. So by default, if we do nothing, it won't get past this meeting. We would actively have to choose to pass it this meeting. Yeah, I don't know if people have thoughts they want to share about passing or not passing this specifically.
You guys think it's realistic to meet next week to pass it? For a short meeting?
I didn't realize this was our last meeting, so yeah.
Okay. Like there's some
Who else
commotion in the
has
chat.
thoughts?
I can probably make time as well.
Sweet. Okay. Maybe potential thoughts. Okay. 7 thinks we should have a special meeting.
Yup.
Lilith said she'd love to meet again. And 7 said, yeah, because of how last year went, we should do it again. And, okay. Okay, with that being the case, I can do a very broad sort of what's going on here in this budget. We see in club activities that there's a very moderate increase of only 4%, not because of that position reduction that I had mentioned. Yeah, in COG, that increase comes from, that 7.4% increase comes from, I think, that reinstatement of that position, and also the mandatory wage increases. Yeah, Growth Center increased because of basically the same, sorry, it's the same for all of these, is an increase because of increases in student wages. And that one 8.4, and that, the OT has had like really big reductions, but they're still seeing, a pretty big increase here. ASP, 5.8%, this one, there was some reduction in, positions. Yeah, I think there's some things moving around, but that's sort of just, yeah. Central services dropped by 50% because this is where there's no wages. So this is our telephone and our coffee machine and stuff like that got reduced. Publicity communications and the marketing, this one only increased by 2.7% because there was a reduction in the publicity center staffing. But the increase was just because of wage increases. In the professional advancement and leadership development, this is the VU, and also leadership and community engagement, or yeah, whatever that sort of area. That was increased by 11.5%. A lot of that is the mandatory increases for classified and professional staff. I believe there's some other increases. No, it's actually, yeah, it's literally just, yeah, it's just increasing from classified and professional staff, increasing in salary, and reinstating position. Yeah. Student administration, this is the business office and personnel office. This is just mandatory wage increases. This is, we have like 2 students that work in those offices. Student rep and gov, this is us, 19.4% increase. That increase is because of wage increases, and also because of adding that operations, university operations position. OCE sees a small decrease, and that I don't know, there's some stuff that you can read the details. AS subsidies, small increase, I think that's just because of the budget as a whole increasing. So that will, I believe, but yeah, that is not really a change. Actually, because they're putting full in the subsidy, that's fine, because full is getting funded. Yeah, oh, right, full, yeah, that's different from the outback, no, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but overall, Leona, you have numbers to share on the SNAP, right?
Well, so, okay, so like if you look at this last table, SNAP revenue, and then you go in the second row down, the furthest column, requesting a decrease from services. No, you're good.
You have 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, my bad. It's just really tiny, the way that they formatted it. So you'll need to slide the bar all the way to the right.
Right. Got it.
Okay, just what it says right there, second row down from the top, one from the bottom. Requesting a decrease from services and activities from 37.41% to 37%. This is basically just saying like, they're asking for the AS budget to take 37% of the total SNE fee, which is a fee that is collected from students directly. This is not what they got. They didn't get 37%, they got 36.62%, which seems like a small difference, but it amounts to about $50,000. So no big deal. They're figuring it out. It's fine, but this is just slightly, I guess, inaccurate. So I just wanted to clarify that.
So that's what you don't have like the number.
Oh, sorry, is that not what you were referring to?
Well, I mean, I was thinking the big number of like, because it has the projected SNAP distribution. Do you know what the actual number is? Because I don't know, Adam said that you had that number. I don't know if that's the number you had. You don't have that.
Oh, you mean like how much that amounts to?
Well, like, yeah, how much?
Well,
Yeah.
it'd be like about 50,000 less from what they thought it was on this
Oh,
document.
okay.
So if you just scroll up to the page that had the graph.
Instead of 2,671,000,
Yeah,
it would be like 2,621,000. one.
Yeah, I didn't do the subtraction.
That's great, that's
But
great.
I mean, yeah, so,
Okay,
yeah,
so yeah, that, I think that these are definitely a little bit bigger, at like around 200,000. But also, we've had a deficit for a while, athletics has like $1 million deficit or something. Money stake,
yeah.
I have a question that's not related to this. It's on page 46 in regards to the OC, the outdoor center. Just as reduction of operating hours by 1 hour per day. And the following sentence says the OC will now only be open 5 hours during the academic year. Is that like 5 hours per week?
Or 5 hours per day.
no, it's per day.
5 hours for the academic.
No, they will be open for the course of the year for 45-hour intervals, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I want to leave, so.
Devin has something.
Devin
You
has-
and Devin has something.
I meant, yeah, I was finishing my thought.
Mm.
I want to leave, so we're gonna move on. Devin, do you want to share about this? I think my TLDR is we were going to bring some recommendations forward for the Senate to vote on and the city government to vote on about, the student advisory committee, drafting some recommendations for the service and activity fee to be sort of reformed. Because right now it's like an exclusive club, and that exclusive club just divides that anti money between itself. So sort of trying to democratize that. And the story, the update is that the student advisory committee is going to sort of try to get some final things done by the end of the year, but it's not gonna get like formally approved, and it'll sort of be a project to be continued on next year, which the incoming Senate, or the incoming executive board president has sort of indicated that they're chill with continuing that work. But yeah, Devin, if you wanna add anything, feel free.
Yeah. I think the biggest reason was probably the delay from the strike, I would say, for this. We originally planned to have some items ready for the meeting before this, but yeah, stuff gets in the way. So that's why we're proceeding with this, because of the time constraints and the delay. So
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Any questions on that? No questions. We're going to go now. Okay, that being said, we'll move on to other business. I don't know any other business that is on the agenda.
Really quick, I'm gonna be sending out an end of year, feedback survey.
We are survey.
Cause y'all know, I love my forms, yeah, so just keep an eye out for that.
Google Forms.
I mean, sorry, Dave, I'm gonna say Microsoft, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just want feedback on how I did as an advisor, and it'll help me for next year, so.
I thought you were gonna say, I'm gonna send out feedback, period. This is the feedback surveys. They meant feedback. I was like, oh, what do you just say to me?
We're gonna keep moving on by adjourning this meeting at 6:05 PM.
You guys can speak, please.
Please come.
Yeah.
Please come.
Oh, Leona,
Yes, Mia.
I meant to get Kathy. You. Oh, good.
Whatever you want to do, if you're like, I wanna be done. I can't talk to someone else.
You guys, I don't know how to answer.
Yeah, you're not gonna be fixed. Maybe ask me whenever you get to. Yeah. I mean. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for coming, Isaac.